Word on the Eastbrook circuit was that Harrington had put a bounty on her son's orientation, turn the Golden Prince straight, and $10 million would hit your account overnight. I saw dollar signs, so I threw every trick I knew at Harrington. At first he didn't even blink. Then one night he locked the door, pinned me to the mattress, and spent the next week proving he'd deleted every male contact in his WhatsApp. Mission accomplished, fee wired. I faked my own disappearance only to have him corner me at Eastbrook with 3 bodyguards and a silk necktie. He coiled the tie around my wrists, breath icy against my ear. When I was tasting you, did I taste gay? Let me refresh your memory starting now just how straight I really am. 01 I was frying sausage skewers at the campus gate when 3 black-suited giants hooded me and shoved me into an SUV. The sack came off inside the riverfront villa, and there sat Harrington, legs crossed, diamonds flashing like traffic lights. Her son Dylan Hudson Whitmore's reigning god, 6'3" of razor-jawed, old money perfection was allegedly playing for the other team, and Mom wanted a roster change. You're Joey? She looked me over like I was a specimen. My campus sources say Dylan stared at you for exactly 37,483 seconds last week. That means your silhouette registers on his radar. Translation: sleep with him until he switches sides. My jaw dropped. Harrington is actually gay? The bodyguard behind her cracked his knuckles wrists thick as baseball bats and my survival instinct gurgled. Knowing a billionaire heir's bedroom secret could get a girl buried under the koi pond. Still, I planted my flag. Harrington, you can't insult me like this. I'm not some $10 million. I won't sell my $10 million. I rocketed to my feet, snapped my heels, saluted. Ma'am, mission accepted. Integrity intact, sir ma'am. 02 principles are great, but they don't pay rent. 10 million buys a lifetime supply of breath mints and a shower hot enough to wash the fryer grease out of my hair forever. Back at my dorm I binge-watched Pinterest makeup tutorials for 72 hours straight. When I finally emerged, roommates snorted. Walking Instagram filter huge rack, 0 brain cells. Lightbulb moment, rack. How could I forget my 2 biggest selling points? I squeezed into a cleavage-boosting crop top and a micro miniskirt, then strutted to the outdoor courts like I owned the asphalt. Hudson Whitmore has runway-grade beauties everywhere, but Joey 36D still stopped traffic. Every guy rubbernecked yet I only had eyes for the $10 million man. Dylan stood head, shoulders, and trust fund above the rest, linebacker shoulders, tapered waist, face so sharp it could slice your gaze. Cold, ruthless bone structure until his eyes landed on me, and stayed. My pulse detonated. Could it be? Had my girls converted him in a single heartbeat? He strode over. I inhaled, ready to purr. Dylan, looking for me? He frowned, seemed to wrestle with something, then delivered 6 frosty words, 2 sausage skewers, extra sauce. 03 Seriously, couldn't the crown prince crave something less, pedestrian? I skewered the links while sneaking peeks at him. He waited, one hand in his pocket, glare glued to his phone. When I handed the paper boat over, I pounced. So, no girlfriend? Not into girls. Bingo. Theory confirmed. The Maybach purred to the curb. Panic time. I scooped up my entire cart and sprinted. Dylan. City inspectors incoming, hide me. You wouldn't abandon a small business owner, right? I bent at the window, lashes fluttering, neckline plunging. His apple bobbed, he jerked his gaze away. Get in. No touching. No talking. 04 I followed him to VIP. He disappeared into a VIP booth with his pack of trust fund predators. I camped at the edge with my cart and sold a dozen skewers to drunk hedge fund brats micro profits while I macro schemed. Eavesdrop jackpot, come on, Dylan, Derek didn't mean to embezzle the seed round. He just lost his head. Hold up, another guy broke his heart? My fake boyfriend radar pinged. At least nothing happened between you two, the friend added. Nothing taxable, right? Nothing sexual. Translation: Virgin Territory, prime for conversion. Question: what's the best cure for a man scorned by another man? Answer: show him what a woman can do starting tonight. 05 I launched a full-court press. Reserved his favorite seat in every lecture, delivered farm-to-table lunches, bribed his roommate with a month of $9 unlimited skewers, and harvested his phone number. Every sunrise, noon, and moonrise I spammed him with curated love bomb texts. Silence. Stone-cold silence. 2 months in, my bank account flatlined, so I returned to the cart instead of the courts. Mid-fry, my phone buzzed contact name, 101 single question mark. Before I could reply, a classmate appeared, blushing, offering me a single rose. Joey, I like you. A tanned hand swooped in and confiscated the bloom. Dylan, still in basketball shorts, sweat glistening, eyes thunderous. My heart sang he's jealous. The scene played in my head, asterisk woman, you play with fire. Asterisk reality, student council. That flower is from a protected bed. Write a disciplinary essay, turn it into student affairs. Classmate fled. Dylan turned to me, frown intact. What were you saying about playing with fire? Misheard me. I said, thanks for drawing your sword against theft. Real nightly. He remained arctic. Next time, refuse contraband flora. You'll lose credits. I gave a pitiful cough. But you came halfway across campus, for me? For sausage too. Are you kidding me? I slathered sauce with vengeance. By the way, that question mark you texted? iOS update scrambled months of messages. What did you send? Discount coupons, event notices, nothing romantic. I squeaked. He pocketed the skewers. Good. Spam is illegal. My spatula clattered. I also saved you seats. Brought you quinoa bowls. Why do you think I comprehension dawned, he exhaled, annoyed. Fine. Consider it done. I heard cash register chimes. Really? I'll email the city clerk. You can stay open 30 extra minutes. Happy? The look in his eyes held zero lust, just bureaucratic efficiency. Time to change tactics before my ovaries retired. 06 sweet gestures weren't cutting it, the boy still batted for the other squad and obviously didn't appreciate feminine assets. So I pulled an all-nighter speed reading 100 alpha billionaire romances. If Dylan wanted domination, I'd bring the storm right to his penthouse door. The whole game could be summed up in 2 words, seduction and bait. What happens in bed is like taking a shot on goal. Don't let the guy stare at the ball, you have to know exactly how to handle it. I glanced down at my 36 DS, lifted them like trophies, and marched out the door. Roommate had slipped me exclusive intel. Dylan was throwing a private party tonight at the riverfront villa. The moment I walked in I spotted him. Too handsome, he stood there like a crane among chickens. A circle of women kept fluttering their lashes, he ignored every one and talked to a tall, skinny guy instead. Worst of all, I heard someone call that tall guy Derek. Derek, the name I'd overheard at VIP, the bastard who'd screwed Dylan over. Crap, were they about to rekindle the flame? A second chance gay romance in real life? Alarm bells shrieked in my skull. I sidled closer, the room was noisy, but I still caught fragments. Ayu, I didn't mean to con you, I was tricked. Some woman ran off with my money. We've been together for years, give me one more chance, okay? I want back into full hope. He wants back into bed and into business? Plug and play cheater, and he has the nerve to ask for a reunion. Dylan's lips were pressed tight, he looked shaken. Sure enough, he said in a flat, cold voice, you can come back to the books, but we set 3 rules. Come back to sleep with me, he means? My God, is he really this love stupid? Furious and frantic, I bolted between them. Dylan, don't buy the garbage this jerk is selling. He's lying, once a cheater, always a repeat offender. Derek froze, his gaze landing on my chest and sticking there. Dylan's face darkened, he yanked me behind him and barked, get lost. Yeah, get lost. I chimed in, hands on hips. I'm the current he sleeps with, got it? Derek's eyes drilled into Dylan. A new tax write-up girlfriend? Fine, so you've replaced me, Ao? My mistake trusting you. He stormed off in a rage. Dylan slammed his champagne flute onto a table and strode back into the house, face like a thundercloud. Good, no cracked mirror here, just shattered glass that can't be glued. I exhaled in relief. Earning that money is brutal. 07 Dylan was clearly furious, but I was riding high. I trotted after him, chirping that even dogs roll their eyes at exes who want a do-over. Can you shut up for 1 second? He snapped, halting so suddenly I rammed into him breasts first. You almost flattened me. I whined, rubbing my chest. His gaze flicked down, then jerked away, his breathing turned rough. Keep following me and see what happens, stay away. I slipped into customer service sweet talk, honey, after a scumbag, irritability is totally normal. Heartbreak makes people vulnerable and vulnerability is my opening. I dropped the bomb, Harrington, word is you're still a virgin at 20. Does that sound healthy to you? Ever think it's time to reboot your life? Maybe after you mess around with a girl you'll ditch the crooked past and respawn straight. His expression blackened line by line. By the end he laughed in pure rage. Quite liberal, aren't you? Mocking my virginity so you're a battle-scarred expert? I felt a twinge of guilt, but I stuck out my chin. D-damn right. I'm amazing. You want a sample? His eyes glittered, half mock, half frost. Sample how? Was he so marinated in yaoi that hetero blueprints were missing? I blurted, the normal way. Are you even a guy? With that testosterone you can't be the bottom. 08 Never dare a man. The words were barely out before Dylan pinned me to the wall, hand clamped on my waist. First time since 18 I've been this close to one. He doesn't smoke, keeps impeccably clean, cool mint rolled off his skin. His t-shirt collar had slipped, collarbones sharp and lickable. Such top-shelf hotness wasted on gain is tragic. In that second I decided converting him wasn't just for the 10 million, I was performing a public service for womankind. Calling me a bottom, he sneered. Your guts are bigger than your boobs. I shook my head honestly. And no, I now certify you're pure top. Of course a dominant ace hates being labeled submissive. His glare softened a notch. He leaned in, breath scorching my cheek. Aren't you the seasoned pro? Show me, move. My spine locked, but pride wouldn't let me retreat. I hooked his neck, rose on tiptoe, and kissed him, missed his mouth and landed on his Adam's apple. A low grunt vibrated under my lips. Before I could parse it he cupped my face and crushed his mouth to mine. This time I whimpered. First contact, cool, soft lips, heart racing, vision blurring. Seconds later he tangled tongues and teeth. He kissed me until I teared up, until I forgot north from south, until we were on a bed. My top had vanished into another dimension. I'd assumed he ignored my 36DS because they left him cold. Turns out I overthought. Men are all fans, and billionaire novels never lie. 09 Yet Dylan only fondled no goal. Skirt gone, he actually redressed me, tent pole bulging, then marched off. He even tucked the quilt around me like returned goods. I finally understood how Enlingrong felt when she was sent back intact. Maybe the gay to straight switch short-circuited his brain. Wrong again. 2 days later he summoned me to the same villa with a shopping bag. I thought it was stuffed with snack nope, 3 extra-large ultra-thin boxes, and a dozen Japanese DVDs. So the 48-hour disappearing act was a cram session? Shadow fell overhead as he loosened shirt buttons. Ready? First I'll prove I'm a man, then I'll show you how savage a virgin can be. My eyes bulged. 2 tiny sentences and you're still butthurt? Real macho. The retort hadn't left my tongue before he tackled me onto the sofa. Now I knew why he stockpiled 12 discs. He intended to reenact them frame by frame. 10 college boys are terrifying stamina that shames Red Bull addicts. 3 days and nights we never left the house, every Kama Sutra angle got logged. Who will ever date a virgin again? After round 1 he pointed at the pea-sized blood spots and snorted, experienced? Amazing? Couldn't even stay on top rookie. Exhausted, I quit worshipping and snarled, fine rookie, 3 minutes opening night your condom regretted rolling off the line. Instant refrag. From then on he timed every session with a stopwatch minimum 1 hour, no exceptions, and forced me to chant Magnificent on loop. So mature. 11 That's how Dylan and I graduated from classmates to roommates, shacking up in the villa. I'm sure his mother has spies. After our first sleepover Victoria Harrington wired me a $3 million advance. I'd never seen money like that. I counted the zeros until my eyes blurred, refreshed my banking app a dozen times before I believed it. When I was 7, a boiler explosion in the factory killed both my parents. The compensation was $200,000, every cent swallowed by my uncle. Victoria added that once Dylan's hetero phase looked solid, the remaining $7 million would drop. I started buying him billionaire romances so he'd marvel at boy-girl passion. He refused until I threatened breast reduction surgery, then he cracked the covers. A few books later he jeered, what kind of hero begs on his knees after the heroine dumps him? Pathetic. Disgraces the gender. And here, the moron's over the moon while the heroine's only in it for cash. Hilarious, so dumb. Me, I dragged him through tragic BL novels, see? Boy plus boy equals total angst. I also took wedding gig jobs just to parade him in front of smiling brides and grooms, look man plus woman, happily ever after. Finally, I asked Dylan, so, during all this time, did you finally start appreciating how amazing women can be? He thought for a moment and replied gravely, I've realized they're a huge hassle, still feels easier to hang out with the guys. I was so mad I ignored him for 3 whole days. But I still think I successfully straightened Dylan out. Whenever we were tangled in bed in that dazed, post-sex lull, Derek would call him, and Dylan always silenced the phone. One time he even texted Derek back, I'll never forgive you. Don't bother coming back to Fuha. Let's delete each other. I figured it still hurt him, otherwise how would get back together end up mistyped as Fuha? So I doubled down on being good to him, cooked his meals, did his laundry. When he came home late, I'd rub his shoulders and slip in, see? Women are better, right? I felt like I'd brainwashed him. Whenever he saw me soaking my feet he'd mutter, a woman's feet are gorgeous, tiny and round, makes a guy want to. Okay, definitely creepy, but hey, he'd gone straight. Half a year zipped by. Senior year, fall semester, everyone plunged into frantic internships. Rumor had it Dylan had started his own company freshman year and it was already humming a long name, Fuha. Sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. We no longer met daily like before, sometimes a whole month passed without a glimpse of each other. Once he went an entire week without texting, so I caved and called. The ringtone droned on until his assistant picked up, Harrington is intoxicated. May I take a message? The words Harrington froze me. When my brain rebooted I panicked and hung up. Joey, what are you doing? Missing him? In our line of work, falling for a client is rule number 1. I'm just a small-time con artist. I slapped my cheeks hard to snap out of it and sat alone on the bed we'd shared for a whole day. After a while I decided it was actually great he's Harrington now, he'll never crave fried sausage skewers again, and he sure doesn't need me. Once I made peace with that, I stopped thinking about him. I busied myself applying to graduate schools overseas and juggling every gig that paid. In my free moments Dylan would still iMessage me, beep, send boob pic. Exhausted, want to nap on a pair of 36DS ignoring me? Didn't you say women are the best? What are you up to? I couldn't exactly say I was having tea with his mother. Harrington said, you've done well, my son no longer recoils at the word marriage. The other day he even said he might tie the knot someday. Then her tone iced over. But I will never approve of you marrying him. You haven't entertained that thought, have you? Of course not. I was about to reassure her when she added cattily, you'd better not. You're unqualified, orphaned, parents dead, bad luck. My promised disclaimer crawled back down my throat, replaced by the classic line, $1 million and I'll vanish from your son's life. I walked away with 11 million. Feels freaking fantastic to flip the script and scalp a capitalist. I hired a sharp attorney, the contract was airtight. Harrington gave me 3 days to disappear. Flush with cash, I decided to fly abroad and scout grad schools in person. That morning I almost texted Dylan to break up, then realized we'd never actually dated. No confession, no Instagram official status, 0 verbal promises. I hadn't met a single friend or relative of his. We'd done nothing except, well, do it. Bedroom memories are impulses, not memorabilia. Breakup didn't apply. So I typed, I'm off. If fate allows, let's grab dinner someday. Bye, classmate, hit send, blocked him, powered down, and headed for the airport. In the departure lounge I ran into the last person I expected, Derek. Facing my ex-boyfriend's ex? Awkward. I pretended not to notice, but Derek greeted me cheerfully, hi, you're Joey, right? I know you a used girlfriend. Oh. In public, no less, was this scumbag going to drag me by the hair for turning his man straight? I eyed him warily. What do you want? He kept smiling. Nothing. Where's AU? Not traveling with you? Coldly, no. Why would he? Derek, aren't you two together? He lets you jet off alone? So chatty. I ignored him. He studied me, suddenly stood, and walked off to make a call. I braced for him to summon thugs. Come at me broad daylight, not everyone's a Harrington. I never dreamed he'd actually phone Harrington himself. When Dylan strode into view, I went numb. Tailored black suit, mirror-shine Oxfords, a posse of bodyguards in tow. The words classmate jammed in my throat. He was no longer that undergrad buying 2 skewers at the campus gate. In college the gap had been invisible, we all queued for cafeteria trays. But society showcases hierarchy, status, identity, wardrobe, aura. Barely 6 months and we were stratified, clouds versus mud. He was Harrington, bona fide scion of Eastbrook's apex dynasty. Stopping in front of me, he raked my luggage with a glance, dark brows knitting. Where to? We hadn't seen each other in ages. In person he left me flustered. He flashed his phone, my farewell text glowing on screen. Joey, 3 minutes, explain. Derek chirped at his elbow, AU, is she sneaking overseas? Do I get brownie points? Can I come back to Fuha? Shut up. My temper snapped. Still harping on getting back together? Shame on you, cheating scum. Dylan said flatly, fine, back to Fuha. Wait, what? Back together? After all my hard work straightening him, plus the 11 million refund Harrington would demand? I exploded. Get back together, can you think of anything else? Screw your whole family. Dylan, a jerk who played you, why can't you forget him? Brain dead? Even if you want to be gay again, pick someone decent. Aren't you disgusted sleeping with him? Silence. Every spectator in the lounge stared. Derek blinked, bewildered. Who's gay? Who slept with whom? Dylan's face could have smelted steel. After a long glare he laughed, cold and low. I'm gay? Joey, so that's why you approached me? My mother put you up to this? Harrington genes IQ 180, logic on point. If I weren't the accused, I'd have applauded. I didn't get the chance. Dylan shredded my boarding pass, his bodyguards seized my bags, and he spirited me out of the airport, locking me inside the riverfront villa where we'd spent half a year fooling around. What are you doing, Dylan? This is illegal detention. He tossed me his phone. Call the cops, then. A wicked smirk curved his mouth. Pray they keep me locked up long enough, because once I'm out, I'll show you what real payback looks like. Fine. How long are you planning to keep me? Oh, it's fun. Remember those alpha molest heroine novels you fed me? The heroes imprison the heroines for 3 years. I was speechless. Okay, genius, go ahead, mom will bust me out anyway. I stalked toward the bathroom. Dylan yanked me back. How much did my mother pay you? Crap, he wanted a refund. On high alert, I hesitated. He read my face and added, one phone call and I'll know. True, Harrington could pull every bite in 3 minutes. I surrendered. 11 million. Only 10? Joey, for pocket change you'd do this? That's my price tag in your eyes? Pocket change. Something inside me cracked. Dylan, sorry, even 500,000, a third, a fifth, would be astronomical to me. It's more than my parents' 2 lives combined. I swallowed the words, too mawkish for the cheerful hustler I pretended to be. I knew I was wrong, yet it stung. I looked away. He forced my face back, fury blazing in his black eyes. Money trumps me? Joey, look at me. I met his stare. Yes. Money beats you, beats everything. His grip tightened like iron. My jaw ached from his grip. I half expected TMJ by morning. Dylan's face was terrifying. For a second I thought he might strangle me. He didn't. Instead he scooped me up by the waist and pitched me onto the bed like a duffel bag. His tall frame came down on top of me, ripping at my dress, kissing me hard. I knew he was furious and needed a place to unload the fact I'd conned him deserved at least that. I didn't fight back. Sleeping with a top-tier hottie like him was hardly a loss, who knew if I'd ever get the chance again. But the minute I stayed passive, Dylan went colder. Halfway through the teardown he shoved off the mattress and stared at me like I'd just killed his dog. Nice, Joey. Real nice. Using me as your free stud? Now he was the one coming apart. He slammed the door so hard the paintings jumped. I faintly heard him tell the bodyguards outside, don't bring her food. Was he seriously planning to starve me? Starving was not on the agenda. The riverfront villa had a koi pond. I caught a few fish barehanded and grilled them in the courtyard. The smell floated over the hedges and lured the guards. I handed each of them a fish on a stick. They were halfway through when Dylan strode up. I jumped in front of them. I forced them to eat it. Dylan came unglued again. Great, so you're sweet to everyone but me? I blinked. Huh? He hurled what looked like a takeout box into the trash, closed the distance, and kicked my makeshift grill sky high. I shot to my feet, furious. What the hell? Wasting food is a sin. And you're not? He seized my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. They were darker than I'd ever seen, voice gravel rough. Did you ever even for a second like me? Like? The word stalled in my head. In 20-odd years of scrambling for tuition before sunrise, like had been a luxury item. I never asked whether I liked steamed buns, only whether I could afford them. Like was a country I didn't have a visa for. So I thought it through, properly. All that CEO novel crap he'd pulled lately? None of it felt like affection. But back when we were together, the times we'd lie on the couch, his head on my boobs, whining that he didn't want to move, the nights after sex when I'd poke his abs and he'd kiss my hair, the meals where I'd steal the beef from his bowl and he'd dump his cilantro into mine, or the lazy afternoons we'd circle the gardens holding hands, those flashed warm inside me even now. Was that happiness the same as like? I had no clue. I opened my mouth, nothing came out. Dylan's stare drilled into me until his lips twisted. Guess that's a no. Good. Because I don't not for a single damn second like you either. Get lost. If I ever see you again, I'll ruin you. I scrammed. Told myself we were done for good. I made it overseas with no trouble. Grad school life was exciting for a week, then plain dull. The food was criminal. I figured that was my next hustle. I teamed up with a local guy and opened a shoebox Chinese place across from campus. We sold everything from hand-pulled noodles to midnight dumplings. Business blew up. Still, Dylan drifted into my head, especially those first lonely nights when jet lag kept me up. I'd revisit the villa memories, his lazy grin, the way he'd kiss my forehead after I'd fall asleep studying. My parents' faces were blurred by now. Dylan was the clearest human archive I had. I allowed myself that nostalgia only after dark daytime was for profit margins. The resolution lasted until one lunch shift when Dylan walked in with a wavy-haired blonde stunner. My brain blue-screened. What was he doing here? He looked older, sharper college softness carved into angles that turned every female head. I took their order, delivered their plates, zero chit-chat. He never even glanced up. Figured I'd been forgotten and wrote it off as a freak cosmic hiccup until my phone rang that night with an unknown number. Dylan. I found him curled on his penthouse sofa, palm pressed to his stomach, face pale and clammy. Took you long enough, he muttered without opening his eyes. Busy nailing your new boyfriend? If you've got breath to snark, the cramps can't be that bad, I shot back. I'd only come because he'd claimed my kung pao chicken tried to kill him. He groaned. I'm suing. 10 billion deal on hold because your kitchen poisoned me. Enjoy bankruptcy. Stop the theatrics. You're fine. I knelt, hand over his abdomen. Here? He stayed silent while I pressed. The second I pulled away he started up again. I mean at court, damages, the works. I lost it. You're just out for revenge. He lunged, tackled me to the rug, and kissed me hard. Images of the blonde flared. I fought harder, but he knew my ticklish spots soon my skirt was history. Then everything stopped. Dylan wasn't reacting. He rolled off, eyes averted, voice hollow. Surprise I am broken. Hasn't worked since you left. The woman this afternoon dumped me for it. So go ahead, walk away. Everyone else does. He stood and headed for the balcony like he planned to vault the rail. I lunged and locked my arms around his waist. Don't you dare. I'm not going anywhere, just breathe, okay? I talked him down. He showed me a neurologist's report, acute psychosexual dysfunction brought on by identity whiplash, too violent a U-turn on the Kinsey scale. Dense medical jargon I couldn't parse, but the guilt landed squarely on me. What now? I asked. He shrugged. No idea. I'm a paperweight to everyone, men, women, doesn't matter. I swallowed. Not even. Derek? His face blackened. Tried. Nothing. I'm scrap metal, so unless you've got a miracle, save the pity. There has to be a fix. I helped break it, I'll help fix it. His eyes snapped open. You'll take responsibility? Yes, just don't do anything stupid. Fine. Sign this. He strode to his study and emerged with a thick contract. I gawked. You typed this in 5 minutes? Voice to text, he coughed. Terms were simple. I become his rehabilitation coach. He pays me $10 million a month. Talk about inflation. Still, I signed. Eastbrook play on a different planet. My new job, resurrect the full, proud flag of Dylan's salary obscene, stakes absurd, guilt astronomical. We moved back in together, this time into a glass-walled villa perched on a cliff, ocean on 3 sides, air so crisp it felt filtered. He claimed sea breeze was therapeutic. I claimed the view was free inspiration to get him and my paycheck fully upright. He also demanded that I never wear a bra at home, claiming it stimulated his optic nerves and helped straighten out his orientation. I'd assumed helping him recover would be a long, grueling process. Turns out the first time we tumbled into bed he was perfectly normal. Me? Dylan, there's nothing wrong with you, is there? Dylan paused mid-motion. Oh, maybe being with you stirred up certain, bodily memories. Seriously? Shall we keep going? Fine. Wait, that doesn't add up. I blurted. Your medical report said you couldn't because Dylan cut me off. I get it, you're disgusted by me, you look down on me. He rolled toward the balcony. I'm trash. I should just die. Hey. I lunged, locking my arms around his waist and hauling him back to bed. After that night, I stopped asking questions. Every time we slept together he worked just fine, nothing ever failed to launch. He claimed he'd consulted doctors, that maybe my particular hormone cocktail suited him, then rattled off a string of English medical jargon until my head throbbed. I tuned him out, didn't want to know. Cured was cured. We weren't rabbits, though. I had classes, Dylan was busy expanding Harrington overseas, and the days slid by. 1 year later my savings crossed the $100 million mark. The number felt obscene, unearned. I tested the waters one evening. Looks like you're all better? When I came out of the shower last night you were impressively responsive. Dylan's fingers froze over his laptop. Meaning? Well, maybe we terminate the contract? Even vault spring leaks eventually. He stared at the balcony. I surrendered instantly. Okay, forget I spoke. Spend away, Midas. Another year vanished. The afternoon I graduated, diploma still in my hand, graduation gown flapping, Dylan dragged me to City Hall. His proposal could have been scrap metal poetry. Joey, I'd like you to treat me for life. I broke into a cold sweat, fished out his phone, and sure enough the last open tab was sweet wife on top, CEO husband, kiss gently. Grow up. No more billionaire trash novels. Still, flowers, ring, the whole spectacle, he'd nailed it. I sniffed. Not bad, Harrington. He practically preened. Marrying a 9-figure woman demands effort. Flatterer. I adore being called a tycoon. I looped my arms around his neck and rewarded him with a slow French kiss. After the vows I worried, what will your mother say? Dylan shrugged. Plenty. He was right. My brand new mother-in-law rang that afternoon. Dylan insisted I ignore her. The Harrington throne was his. He was a born wife management major, therefore the dynasty answered to me, but I couldn't very well curse the woman. For Dylan's sake I needed manners. I was still hunting for them when Victoria's voice drilled through the speaker. Joey, is it? Heh. Heard you're my daughter-in-law now. Impressive. Here's the deal, $30 million for a granddaughter first shot. I'm done with grandsons. Another gay heir is an expensive waste. 30 mil, deal or no deal? Hello? Me, side story 1, the slow bulb moment 1, post-marriage 3 a.m. I shot upright in bed. Wait. Dylan's freshman startup was called Harrington. That night Derek had begged to come back to Harrington? And hold you while we sleep was actually help with the tax sheet? I shook him awake. Harrington, get up. He blinked, curled me in. Nightmare? Did I miss here? Derek wanted back into the company, not your pants, right? He's finance, he skimmed cash, meaning you were never gay. You straight liar. Dylan sat up, dead serious. Darling, I've been thinking we should skip kids. If they inherit your ears, English listening scores will hit 0 and college is doomed. I dove for his throat. Divorce. Divorce. Side story 2, Dylan's monologue 1. Dylan was livid. Joey took his mother's money, labeled him gay, and believed he'd cheated with his co-founder. Fine. But then she tried to bail for a measly $10 million? Was that his market value? The effort he put in bed, her moaned, I love it, were all lies? He confronted her. She didn't even hesitate, money him. He nearly throttled her, locked her in, then caved 5 days later with takeout. She was grilling fish, not even fake crying. He asked if she'd ever loved him. Silence. His chest split open. He told her to vanish, swore she was dead to him. 2. Dylan thought he was over her, hadn't checked. He lit a cigarette. How many years since she left? His assistant murmured, 2 weeks, sir. Silence. He stopped asking. The reports still landed on his desk, photos, foot traffic numbers, everything. He told himself not to look. He looked. 3. The more he saw, the angrier he got. Without him she thrived. Crowded diner, same killer curves. He felt like a stalker, but withholding the pictures meant sleepless nights cycling between fury and longing. He wanted to crush her, then wanted her flushed and panting beneath him again. Missing her achingly. 4. He couldn't wait. Half a year and some predator might scoop her up. He ran into her at Maxwell, feigned food poisoning, lured her to his penthouse, fake erectile dysfunction, complete with homemade lab sheets. She went white, worry lines, trembling lips. Finally, concern. He staged a suicide threat, shameless but effective, extracted a vow to take responsibility. He pressed the prepared contract into her hand, $1 million a month. Her gold digger eyes widened. She was gorgeous. So be it. She worships money, he has money. He'll stay the richest man under 40, shower her with billions, never let her leave, love her until she loves back.